and welcome to the UK and Ireland Minnesota Vikings Fan Club podcast. I am your host and fan club co-president, Big Deal Rich, and I am joined tonight by three fan club amigos, Vice President all-round nice guy, Mr. John McDonald, content lead, and my new best Minnesota friend, Tom Parry Jones, and my dad, Dad Hales. I'm still going with it, mate. Still going with it.
Like Dad Hales.
I even had to come around the other week and tuck you into bed, didn't I?
Yeah, it was nice. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, gentlemen.
It's good.
We used to have a system for this, but it's gone right out the window because I can't remember what it is.
Well, put your hand up if you've slept in the last 24 hours. Yeah, not me. So if this show goes horribly wrong, you can all blame me, which I'm sure you're going to blame me for something else at some point anyway during the show. So we might as well just start getting on with it. I mean, the reason I'm pretty tired is because I've just made the long, arduous journey back from Minnesota, having been there for the Falcons game this weekend. Tom, where were you this weekend?
Did you not see me? I was there too.
You were sat right. We have been thick as thieves, like best mates. Me and Tom this weekend. I've had a really fun time. Tom's been.
I'm going to let him keep thinking that.
but yeah, it's been really fun. It was obviously a very, very late night game for those of you in the UK. Daz, I'm assuming you watched the game.
Yes, I did watch the spectacle that was that game.
Yeah, we'll get on to the actual performance of the team during the game. John, you watched the game as well, I assume, or were you working?
Yeah, I watched the game. I screened through the game and swore through the game. And
we'll get on to the quality of the game later. Let's just make sure that we all watched it first. I think that was the first thing to get out of the way. Yeah, we're doing a little bit different stuff on the show tonight. First of all, I think we should. I don't know. Are we gonna run down the league? Do we usually do that and see how everyone else performed at the weekends? Anyone got the scores on the doors?
I can do it. Let's find the scores. Where are they?
Go on then, Tom. Because I'm assuming some other NFL teams had a good weekend this weekend. So
I mean, it was absolutely silent.
It was a barnstorm of a weekend. Sunday was great up until a point.
Yeah. I would wholeheartedly agree. I didn't see any of the football, but we'll get on to that a bit later as well. Go on, Tom. Go down the scores.
Rightio. Yes. Well, we'll start with the Thursday night game between the Green Bay Packers and the Washington Commanders. Indeed. Green Bay recording their second win of the season, 27-18 over the Commanders. Then we'll get on to Sunday's games. I'm literally just going to do them in alphabetical order because that's how I've got them in front of me. The Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns faced off in an AFC North encounter. The Ravens won 41-17. The Bengals faced the Jacksonville Jaguars, beat them 31-27. The Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants faced off in an NFC East encounter. The Cowboys won that one after overtime, 40-37. Then we have our fellow NFC North teams, the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. They played an absolute barnstormer. The Lions really mauled them, which is usually, would it usually be Bears or Lions who do maulings? But in this case, it was the Lions who mauled the Bears 52-21. The New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins faced off in an AFC East clash. The Patriots winning 33-27. The New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers, they played on Sunday. San Francisco 49ers won 26-21. The Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets, they also played AFC East in an AFC East encounter. That was unexpectedly difficult to say. The Bills winning 30-10. Our opponents in a couple of weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they played the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks winning at home 31-17. I hope that was at home, because normally they're written home away, and this one might have been written away home. Who knows? The Tennessee Titans and the Los Angeles Rams played. The Rams winning by 2 scores, 33-19. Then you've got the evening games, the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. Cardinals winning 27-22. The Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos, they played a heck of a game. The Indianapolis Colts winning on a re-kicked field goal in the last second. A penalty meant that they got another try from, I think, 15 yards closer because the center got climbed on, the long snapper. And they managed to make the kick second time round, winning 29-28. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles played a repeat of the most recent Super Bowl, and the Eagles were again the winners, 20-17. Then I should probably go on to last night's games before coming back to the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. So the Houston Texans lost by a point to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Las Vegas Raiders lost to the Los Angeles Chargers 20-9 in the AFC West.
There you go. Thank you very much. I'm going to say, listening to those raises a few questions. I'm going to call them rhetorical questions because we haven't got time to answer them all. Are Green Bay good? I don't want to answer that question. It looks like the Bills, I think they are. Unfortunately, I think they are good. I think the Bills are probably the best team in the AFC this year. They're looking on fire. The Eagles are obviously still better than the Kansas City Chiefs, and they've got all sorts of problems, injuries and outs and ins and outs and all sorts of stuff. And maybe they might struggle again this year. Well, I say struggle compared to the Chiefs of previous years. The Saints just do not know how to play football. Are the Colts good? Are the Colts good despite thinking that they might not be? I think they've started 2-0 this year. So
I think the Colts are good, and I think Danny Dimes is looking good as well. So that's a double whammy.
And did New Orleans start 2-0 last year? And what happened to them?
Yeah.
I think the Colts are a bit like New Orleans last year. But Cam Barnum has picks in back-to-back weeks, doesn't he?
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. He's a good lad, isn't he, at the end of the day? And neither the Giants or the Cowboys wanted to win their game. I think that's just a really weird set of fixtures. So
no one had that on their bingo card of the Giants and Dallas game being the most entertaining game of the weekend, in my humble opinion. It was
entertaining is a strong word because
it was entertaining.
Okay, all right.
Well, when you see games like that have so high scoring, you think, it's an offensive shootout. It wasn't an offensive shootout. It was a defensive fail fest.
I was about to say, no one decided to play defense in that entire game.
No. Russell Wilson with the boom balls were looking good until the last one didn't.
Yeah. I mean, the only upside for us is that Joe Burrows is out, and the Bengals might struggle next week against us. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers is obviously blowing really hot and cold because it was fairly decent week one and then got smashed by Super Sam Darnold this week. So, it'd be good to see what we've got coming. Yeah, exactly. And we'll get on to our game. But what we were going to do is, obviously, me and Tom have been out in Minnesota this weekend. And I think one thing I do get is lots of messages saying, was it good? How much did it cost? Where did you stay? Where can I get a ticket? What day do I go on? What airline do I fly? All this sort of stuff. So we're just me and Tom have had a slightly different experience of getting to the game. Obviously, Gaz and John, you came with us a couple of years ago when the club came as well. So we've all had an experience of going out to Minnesota to watch a game. And we'll get on to the results of the games that we've seen and all that sort of stuff. We'll get onto that later because I think that's fairly irrelevant who was and who was not in the state when those games happened. You guys might say it's very relevant, but I would obviously personally say completely irrelevant, no influence whatsoever. And
carry on.
Yes, Daz?
No, you carry on. I'm just making notes.
So I'll give it my rundown because because the result, we've all watched the game. We all understand. By the time this podcast comes out, everyone will at least know the result if they've not watched the game. Possibly one of the worst games of football ever as a Vikings fan. But do not let that deter you from going to what is one of the greatest spectacles in sport. There's no other way of putting it. Absolutely not. I mean, I arrived, I flew Iceland Air indirect through Reykjavik from Manchester. It was about 600 quid for the flights. And I got there on the Friday night, having travelled all day, which I don't mind because I was on my own, so I just watched a couple of movies and read a book. So that was pretty good. Got all excited for getting there. I actually was put up by a host family whilst I was out there. That's not something we organise through the club. That's just someone I happen to know out there. So big shout out to Mary and Thor, who were the most hospitable guests that you could possibly ever imagine and want. And yes, he is called
His
Thor.
name is actually Thor.
His name is actually Thor. And yeah, they were just the most lovely people. It was the first time I properly met them first time, and they were very welcoming into their home and shared their home with me, which was just absolutely incredible. So arrived on the Friday. As regular listeners to the show will know, I am a flawed Sunderland fan. So the Premier League kicks off in Minnesota time at 9 a.m. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. So me and Tom and Howard, my other guest while we were out there, big shout out to season ticket holder Howard, who lives in Leeds. Minnesota Vikings season ticket holder Howard that lives in Leeds. Yes, you've heard that right. We all three of us went down to Brit Bar to watch. So I was watching the Sunderland game. Howard's a big Leeds fan for all the rest of his flaws. So he was watching the Leeds game, and depending on sort of who was in the building at the time, depending on which one of the big TVs they put the game on, there just happened to be a little group of Sunderland fans who basically hounded me down in the street after seeing my shirt walking into the bar. It's like, oh my God, there's a Sunderland fan in the bar. We do exist. And we got on the big screen, which was totally wasted, really, because our game was dreadful. And
you didn't need to clarify that last part.
So, but all I'm saying is that if you do catch yourself out in Minnesota for a game weekend and you want to watch Premier League football or anything else, Brit Bar in the city centre is the place to go to do it. It was loads of fun. They've got a bowling green on the roof. Need I say more? And they also had, which I didn't realise at the time, was very strong locally brewed blueberry cider, which caught me out after the third pint.
You said at the time. You said that after maybe like midway through your third pint. If this is less than 6%, I'll be all right. And we asked the girl behind the bar what ABV it was, and she goes 6.3.
Yeah, and it did catch me out. It was pretty hefty stuff. Anyway, so we managed to catch that, and then we did a bit of shopping in Target. If you go out there and you want to get any presents for your family, or just have one of the best shopping experiences of your lifetime, walk around Target. That is fun to do. And then me and Tom and Howard and Thor had the very big pleasure of going to watch the first game of the weekend, which was the Minnesota Twins take on the Diamondbacks. And if you don't know the Twins Stadium, it's right in the heart of the city. So it's weird. You're looking down at a very sort of old school view of a baseball field, and then you're looking up and it's surrounded by skyscrapers and also it's just very American. And you start the game, big bright sun in the sky, and you finish the game with the lights on and all the neons and all that sort of stuff. Let's not go into the score or the result or anything like
that. Did you both go? We
did, yeah.
And so you doubled the attendance then, I take it?
I mean, to be fair,
it's remarkably well attended. I mean, for a team that actually the fans are a little bit on against the Twins right now, just not the team themselves, but the owners. They've had a real debacle with selling the team.
Well, they've been saying they would sell it, and now they're not.
They were going to sell them, and now they've decided to keep them, and it's a real mess. But they got it to 2-2 by the end of the ninth, and then
so in regular time, it was a great game.
But then absolutely browned the bed with the 10th inning, conceding 3 runs.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the browning of the bed to minimise my editing later.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So they really browned it up.
But I again,
and that could be a reference to the Cleveland Browns. I'm just saying.
As a spectacle, I would go back in a heartbeat. Absolutely incredible to just be in the stadium, watch it all as a sporting spectacle. Absolutely fantastic. It's exactly what you would hope it to be. Put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And one tip from me: if during a pitch, pay attention. Don't chat to other people, because if a foul ball lands in the row in front of you, then I nearly browned my pants in the stand. And then the rest of the guys for the rest of their game going, "Rich, you okay?" Ooh, as of my reaction to this ball really hitting me in the face. So yeah,
please tell me that was captured on the camera as well.
Unfortunately not. No,
I'm going to have to go back and look through the coverage.
Broadcast. I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to look back now.
It was.
But as we all know, Rich's face is the moneymaker.
Yeah, exactly.
But it sounds like it sounds like it nearly took one.
So anyway, that was game number 1, loss number 1.
Oh, don't forget, like you were talking about all the neons and everything. They've got a big, handshake neon opposite
That's
us.
all I wanted.
It's out in centre field. It says "Win Twins," and it's got Minnie and Paul. Is it the two representing Minneapolis and St. Paul? And when the Twins win, they animate the neon to have them shaking hands. But my favourite neon is actually the one that's on the side of the target centre. So the Twins field is target field, and on the side of target centre is a neon of Bullseye, the target dog. And when exciting things are happening, the neon has him wagging his little tail. It's really rather cute.
Yeah, it is good. So anyway, game 1, lost 1. And then we got up on Sunday, and obviously I was with a host family, and they've got a young lad, Ben, who plays flag football. And I thought, what would be better to start football Sunday than going to watch local grassroots flag football at one of the local high schools. So I went with the family, went to watch Ben. He threw an amazing pass over the middle into traffic for an extra point. But unfortunately, Ben lost his game. So that was game 2.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
That was game 2. Lost 2 of the weekend.
Make a note.
Ben, and you saw 3.
Ben, we apologise. On behalf of the club, we will ensure he never comes to watch you play flag football ever again. Or any other sport that you may partake in throughout the year.
Yeah, we saw 3 games last time and we lost all of the games.
So that brings you to 0-5, I think.
That's 0-5.
0-5, yeah.
Okay.
So while Rich was watching the flag football, so obviously Sunderland were the only team not to lose that Rich wanted to win.
Correct.
On the weekend, and they only managed to draw. So while Rich was watching,
which to an American is losing,
essentially. But while that was happening, I was at another pub in the centre of Minneapolis called The Local, which is where the Man United and Arsenal fans gather for their games. And I had let them know that I was coming in advance, and they gave me a nice Minnesota Reds scarf. So yeah, representing Man United fans in.
Nice.
I just assumed that was like a double up scarf because, as you said, it was for Manchester United and Arsenal fans. They just picked a red scarf to deal with both teams.
No. So it's got a cherry on there, which is representative of the art installation that they have in one of the Minneapolis parks. They have a massive cherry on the end of a spoon or something.
They do. So I saw it with my own eyes.
Yes. So that was me, and we're just going to not talk about what happened in the actual football game I watched.
Was that the Manchester Derby?
That was a Manchester Derby.
So then we went down to the tailgating,
and you lost that as well.
We definitely lost that.
But what I've got to say is the build-up to Sunday night football in Minnesota is a spectacle in of itself. So we went down to one of Howard's mates' tailgate called I think it's 3 Tents and a Bus. It's called, and the bus that they've got is basic. It's difficult to describe because we don't really have a type of vehicle here that is that. But you can.
It's like a typical US school bus, but painted grey instead of yellow.
Yeah, and a little bit more. So, like, you can ice fish through the bottom of it if you were to drive it out onto a lake.
It's been modified.
You can do that. And
what every UK resident needs.
Exactly. And there's a hatch in the top. So we
you can play pigeon shoot or
went up through the hatch
from both directions, right? You can hunt downwards or you can hunt upwards.
It's got like a railing round the top, and they did assure me that in the 10 years that they've been tailgating with the bus, no one has fallen off the railing. So, and again, I didn't fall off the railings. So I went up pre-drinks and then came down to drink afterwards. So that really could have happened. And so Rob and Stacey put us up for a couple of hours at the tailgate, and then we went around the corner over to the VWO and Sedef tailgate. Had a look around that. Very, very different atmosphere. Very, very busy, lively party atmosphere. Whereas where we were was a bit more, I don't know, maybe family orientated. Maybe that's how you describe it. So, and although one of the games that they obviously played tailgate games, and is it cornholes? Is it that
cornhole?
Yeah, where they put the beanbags in the thing. That's quite common. One thing I did see, which I'd never seen before, was about the same distance apart as the cornhole game. You had a bucket that you sat upside down on a bucket and put a piece of wood in front of you.
The bucket was upside down, not the person sitting.
Yeah, sorry. So that you put a bucket upside down.
Thank you for the clarification.
Put a piece of wood in front, and then you get your drink in a can, and you put that on the piece of wood, which is approximately half a foot in front of your bodily person. You then take a steel-tipped dart and throw it at the opposition's can. And if it goes into the can, you have to drink to the point where the hole is to stop the liquid flowing out of the hole. I did not play this game because although I have finished generating my family in my lifetime, I did not want.
You'd like to have the option
an additional piercing.
Presents itself.
I didn't feel it necessary for me to play that game. But
no.
The people that were playing looked experienced.
Health and safety gone mad.
We left them to it.
Utter woke nonsense.
So we're building up, and then me and Tom got a message from the local CBS station asking if they could have a chat with us. So we went over to the Norse boat in front of the stadium. A great place to hang out and just take in the atmosphere, and did a couple of interviews, mainly around the Dublin game. So I think that's going to come out a little bit later, and we'll share that share the footage with the fans. And then, so all this time, it's slightly dangerous because the game doesn't kick off until gone 7? Is it 7:15?
It was 7:20 for us on Monday night. Yeah.
And the tailgate is set up and ready from 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So you can imagine what happens in between those times. There is obviously.
I can't imagine.
He's been part of it.
There's a lot of food that goes around. There was we met a couple of the people who had their children were twins, ex-Vikings cheerleaders. We met those guys, and they had a really cool barbecue set up.
Sorry, can we just clarify? Were they ex-Vikings cheerleaders who were twins, or they were cheerleaders for both the Vikings and the Twins? Because I didn't know the Twins had cheerleaders.
That is a good question. I will clarify that. They were identical twins who used to be cheerleaders for the Vikings.
Sounds awful. Move on.
Yeah,
I know.
Carmen and Kirsten, they were on the team in 2015.
Terrible day. What a terrible day. Anyway, so again, and we met up with, who else did we see while we were there? Tom?
I'm stuck. Well, we saw our good friends from our one of our group chats, Danielle, who lives in Minneapolis. She and her friends have their own tailgate as well, and so they were very gracious and said hello and all that stuff. Gave us some food and drink and all that. And yeah, like you said, everyone's just so welcoming, and like they hear our accents and go, "Why the hell are you Vikings fans?"
Yeah, what are you doing here, you Australians? Is probably what they say.
So we had 7 hours of thoroughly entertaining mixing and just soaking in the culture of being a Minnesotan, going to the Minnesota game, and then we were like, right, this is it. We're going in the stadium. This is the hype is here. Yes, we've got a couple of injuries, but I'm sure we can get over that. That'll be absolutely fine. So, talking about tickets. Howard, our friend Howard, is a season ticket holder. I had his season ticket. He's got some friends with some season tickets as well, so he had one of those. So I can't really explain the process of getting a ticket for the game. Tom, you do have that process of getting a ticket for the game, though.
Yeah, it's pretty easy because for every game you'll have people who are either season ticket holders or they'll have bought a ticket and they're just looking to sell it on for whatever reason. But yeah, they have a pretty streamlined way of reselling tickets via Ticketmaster on the official Vikings website. There are other ways to get them, but I like to go legit. Not that the other ways aren't legit, but I like to go direct to the source. So, you go to Vikings.com, you click on tickets, and they will display tickets that are available at exact face value, that are completely unsold, or you can buy ones that people have already got that they're trying to sell on. And I think I paid about $150 per seat, dollars, that is, from me and my friend who had flown in from New York, my friend James. He almost became a Vikings fan. He was almost convinced. And then he saw the result.
Yeah, I think the build-up, and this, let's just go slowly through what happened. So you've scanned your ticket, you're in the stadium. I can't describe. It's a bit like talking. If you've ever been to Venice and you go, and people go, "Oh, Venice! All the pictures of Venice look amazing." I've been to Venice. It's very difficult to describe exactly how amazing of a spectacle Venice is without you being and sitting in Venice. The stadium is exactly the same. The Bank Stadium is incredible. Everything about it is incredible. It's purposely built to house a theatre of amazingness. That's all I can describe it as. So you go in through this massive open glass fronted door. You get in, find your seat. There is not a bad seat in the house. All the way up in the rafters, all the way down to the pitch, you are going to get a decent view of the game, and obviously a little bit something different, but it is not a bad seat. And then this whole theatrical build-up to the game. So obviously there was the Jared Allen Hall of Fame induction at halftime. So they really had put the boat out. We had these like wristbands that flashed and danced in time to the music. So Darren, I'll try and send you some videos of that through, see if we can edit it in. Because it was, like I said, and then they announced the players, and they all come running out individually, and then the flags and the cheerleaders, and then there was a
hype video, I'd assume.
Yeah,
it was a hype video.
Yeah.
Who did the national anthem? Was it the brass band?
Yeah, I'd have to look up exactly who it was, but I think it was one of the military brass bands, because obviously this was the closest fixture to September 11th. So I think that they often try to get the military bands involved for that fixture. Which,
again, all absolutely incredible. And then it starts to fall a little bit silent, and all you can hear is dum, dum. And then all of the stadium starts to get on their feet, skull chant all the way through to the beginning. The horn goes, everyone's going absolutely crazy. And then they start the game, and the first drive was the Falcons' first drive, and I was like, this is going to be the best game I have ever seen. It was as noisy in that stadium as I've ever heard anything in my entire life. And for them to have to take a timeout on the first drive because they could not communicate what to do, play to play, the crowd played their part.
It did to begin with, yeah.
And then after that, the crowd needs something to play their part towards, and nothing came. It was abjectly one of the worst games of football I have ever watched. And it was disappointing as of a result, But as Howard said after the game, you don't get the highs unless you get the lows. It just so happens that I've seen all the lows in real life in Minnesota. So
you're taking them for the team. You can take the lows so we can have the highs.
So if you are planning to go to Minnesota at any point, just
don't go with Rich.
Don't go with Rich.
But I'm going to say
he might be able to sort you out with free accommodation, but that's about the only positive you're going to get from the weekend.
Exactly. So I'll move on to probably you guys in John and Darren, who you'll have watched the game in a totally different way to me, because I was in and out the stands, having a drink, having a chat, and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, I've been tailgating for 7 hours beforehand. So, John, I'm going to come to you first. Knee-jerk reaction to that game. What happened?
Why do I put myself through this every night? Why do I put myself through this every week? Why? Nah.
Balotelli over here. Why always me?
This is why we need players during pre-season. They just weren't clicking. That O-line didn't look right. The defense, the poor defense played their part the entire game, but by the end of it, they were absolutely running on fumes because the offense couldn't get more than a first down. You do if you're a defensive player. You can't get on there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think the passing defense was all right. The run defense was awful as well. I accept that Bijan Robinson is a very special player, but even still, and dare I say it, but the biggest takeaway from that is, in terms of blame and why that happened, I think a large chunk of it has to fall on KOC. I've been a big defender of KOC in the past about the whole play calling and so forth, but that one was on him. I think he, listening to his press conferences afterwards, kind of accepts that a little bit as well, based on some of his rhetoric. But yeah, like John said, there was just. I understand that JJ McCarthy is technically a rookie. He's a first-year player. He's 22 years old. He's green as hell, and that we need to give him time. My problem is that, and why I've been unusually doomsday-ish the last few days since that game, is that the Vikings organization played the way they've played this off-season is that JJ is ready. There wasn't going to be a huge drop-off. There was this whole team around him that was going to, bring up the gap. We didn't go heavy in any other QB areas because JJ is the man. And based on 7 out of 8 quarters, he is not anywhere near ready. I don't buy all the excuses. Obviously the injuries are not helping, but even when first teamers have been there, JJ doesn't look ready. And I don't blame JJ for that. He's just learning his trade. The problem we've got is that, obviously, we'll come on to it. There's a little fire break in there anyway, but I think, that's and KOC has put him in that position, which I think is looking to be maybe an unfair decision to make.
Tom, you saw the game from a slightly different angle than me, slightly higher in the stands. Same reaction?
Yeah, I mean, we saw the same action. It's difficult to look. We're not coaches. We can't analyze the game in the same way as the guys who are down on the field with their clipboards and their headsets. But and if it were that easy to do so, we would be coaches. Is it JJ McCarthy showing that he's inexperienced and making wrong decisions? Is it that he's being forced into making wrong decisions by the fact that his offensive line is 40% backups? I want to believe that it's the latter, because we were led to believe that he was ready to start, and he showed against Chicago that he was in the fourth quarter. But now we've only had one really good quarter of JJ McCarthy football.
Yeah,
it's starting to look like maybe he isn't quite there, and he doesn't have like the supporting cast around him to turn him into a really, really good quarterback. Like we talk about KOC being the QB whisperer, and he's worked with guys like Dobbs and Mullins and Sam Darnold last season, but Mullins is, I don't know, I'm going to talk about Mullins, but Sam Darnold, he had the advantage of having a few years in the NFL under his belt and just needed KOC to sort of turn him into the finished product.
Yeah, I was going to say that you're right. What we've seen with KOC is he's good with a QB reclamation project. We've not seen him bring a rookie up through the ranks. They might be different. I don't know. But
yeah, you couldn't do it with Jaron Hall.
I think what we're basically
he wasn't
saying,
a first-round pick. Sorry.
Yeah. So what we're basically saying is that he's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. But I think it's more that everything felt like a perfect storm of a show. So
a brown show.
A brown show.
Sorry.
You had to do.
I apologise. I got very animated on the night. This is me down.
I know. Oh, tell me about it.
But it felt so. Obviously, when you lose your centre and the relationship that you have with your centre, especially a new centre to the organisation, that is not a good thing. When your left tackle is basically a piece of balsa wood, that is not a good thing. When you are,
I'd rather a piece of balsa wood, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And when that left tackle gets injured, like the replacement left tackle gets injured himself, and you go down to your third stringer, Walter Rouse.
Yeah,
like that's weaker than balsa wood. Is it tissue paper? Wet tissue paper.
And then when Aaron Jones picks up a niggle, and when JJ McCarthy has played 4 quarters of NFL football, and bearing in mind that he was a new father 3 days before kickoff, which I've experienced that, not obviously going into an NFL game straight after.
I was about to say, hang on a minute.
But I tell you what, your outlook on life totally changes when one of those things comes along. So there's that, and then
it's funny actually. Sorry, so before you move on, it's funny. Danielle was saying to me the other day, why would you, as a young NFL quarterback, not prepare better with at least planning your kid to be born in the off season?
Shoddy
parenting. We'll leave that one line.
But I mean, maybe it was an accident.
He's a 22-year-old. Okay,
and I think I'm pretty sure
he's a 22-year-old who's just come into a very large amount of money.
Exactly. So when you put all of that together, that is a bad situation. There's no doubt about it. But coming back to your point, Darren, we have got Justin Jefferson, who is double-teamed every play. We have got Naylor, who can stretch the field like no one else with his speed and his quickness. You've got 2 running backs who everyone has been saying this is potentially the best 1-2 punch in NFL football this season. You've still got a really good right guard and right tackle. You've still got JJ McCarthy as a serial winner. You've got TJ Hawkinson, and you've just spent a load of money bringing back a legend to the team that absolutely personifies short yardage gains. And I saw nothing to help that out. Nothing to help that out in any of the play calling that I saw in that game on Sunday night.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Mason not getting a carry until second quarter, wasn't it? I mean, it just... That's criminal. that, as far as I'm concerned, I don't understand how that can possibly be. KOC all through the offseason has said, the run game needs to be more of a focus. At the moment, it's just lip service. It's not in his DNA. He wants to sling it. And, although KOC, there's enough blame to go around. Dare I say it, JJ has looked rusty. His catching that we would normally expect him to catch, albeit, that might not be great throws, but we expect him to make those based on what we've seen. His route running has been, a little bit off. I think he even the Bears interception, I think he came out and admitted that he cut his route off early, and so it was as much on him. Why we're not using TJ, third highest player, tight end in the league.
You've got to say TJ Hawkinson, in terms of a receiving tight end, is top 5 on his day, top 5 in the NFL.
Problem is, he's not on his day at the moment.
10, but yeah.
He make drops that I would expect him to make in that game. So everybody's off.
Everyone's off, and I wonder why that is. It's because they haven't got into rhythm yet, because they weren't played together during pre-season.
I know, but this is always
such a risk playing your starters in pre-season. So you don't, if you know that injuries are going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. Would you rather an injury happen in a meaningless game or a game that matters?
I mean, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. Because if people have got injured in there, we'd all be on here going, "Why the F are you playing your starters in a meaningless game? Use your practices; they're much more meaningful." So I don't necessarily buy into it's because we haven't played them through pre-season.
And do you know what? I think John's onto something, because at the end of the day, preparation for the season comes at that point of the season. And if we're questioning Kevin O'Connell's ability to manage a game in game, why aren't we questioning his ability to understand whether the team was ready enough to start the game in the first place?
Oh, I'm not. So just to clarify, I'm not questioning whether or not the team is ready, but I don't personally believe that those 3 games that you play in pre-season make up the bulk of your preparation. You are playing hundreds of snaps in training against proper first team. Your first team, defense versus your first team. You're playing against first teamers when you have joint practices. In an ideal world, I think you play them, but we tend to look at pre-season hit like we do here in soccer in the UK. I don't think it's necessarily the same, and the risk of injury is just too great, And we've been here before, and we've all, I guarantee you, have had the reverse argument when a first team has been played in pre-season and they've got injured. That's my only point, is that it's a damned if you do and damned if you don't scenario.
Right. Why were we playing JJ McCarthy in last year's preseason?
Because he wasn't technically Oh, right. Sorry, I should have been.
By the way, he needed the experience because he had never played an NFL snap before.
Yeah, and Sam Darnold was probably going to be the starter until he sort of acclimatized anyway. We just didn't have that luxury.
What are you saying, John?
It's just when you've got pretty much a new offensive line, bringing in three new starters in that offensive line, I would have just liked to have seen a bit more cohesiveness during pre-season, playing actual game speed maybe. I know it's kind of, I know you get practices and everything like that, and pre-season isn't top game speed, but you see where I'm coming out with that.
Yeah, no, I do see your point.
Even if it was just JJ working with the line, that's where I think our problem is. But
you know what?
Let's move on to boy done good and boy done bad, because we're running short time.
I haven't even thought of names to come up with for this yet, but let's do it.
I mean, Daz, I reckon you've probably got someone in your locker for done well, done bad. You usually pay attention to this sort of stuff. So I'll go to you first.
All right, so I think it's probably obvious in terms of Boy Done Bad. I've already mentioned him, but it's KOC.
I've got away with that one. Thank you.
So for once in my life, that's where I'm putting it. But let's be honest, I could have thrown a dart at a board, and I'd have had a good answer to that one. Obviously, the more challenging one is Boy Done Good, but there were a few people that stood out. Obviously, from a defensive point of view, we were quite good. So I'm going to go with Jalen Redmond. He still continues to impress. He was one of the silver linings that I took from the game. I'll that's where I will go.
Fair enough. John, I'm coming to you next.
Boy Done Bad. Richard, it's all on you. Big deal, Rich. It's all on you. And I think that's for obvious reasons. I mean, if you could stop a kid winning a flag football game, I think it's time to stop pretending this isn't a jinx.
I've been wondering who the bad luck charm was ever since that loss 2 years ago. I've never seen the Vikings lose except when I've been with Rich in the US.
It is amazing as well how many people you tell my record out in Minnesota and they're like, I mean, we live here and that's really bad.
That's
I mean, even the first game we went to go see the Timberwolves and they just drafted Ant-Man. That was pretty much their only home loss that year that we went to go see. Anyway.
Yeah, that was our first home loss that year.
Wow.
And Boy Done Good. I really liked Turner. Turner really turned up yesterday. The other day, I think he's starting to show why we took him where we took him. He's not getting up to exactly where we want him, but you're seeing definite improvement week on week.
I do like Turner. Big DT. Go on, Tom. Boy Done Good. Boy Done Bad.
I was hoping you would go first. I'm gonna pick the same player for both.
Oh,
I'm gonna go Boy Done Good. Kickoff Miles Price. 135 kickoff return yards on 6 attempts, with 22 yards ish per return is really, really impressive. I think we've found our stable kick return man. Unfortunately, he has mental lapses that have made him my Boy Done Bad on punt return. He had, let me just double check the NFL game book. It was, I think, 6 return yards on 3 attempts. And that includes the final punt return of the game, the penultimate play of the game where he muffed the return.
Let us speak, for Christ's sake. I think he's going to have an aneurysm.
He is. And I'm going to get to the end of my point. But he muffed the return, and that just sort of summed up the game for me.
No one cares about the muffed punt. The game was over 3 hours prior.
I care.
The other thing that I was going to say, in his defense, is Atlanta's coverage team was outstanding in that game.
Fair.
They did not give anyone a sniff. That was not his inability or decision making. The muff punt, I give you that.
No, but he has shown mental lapses. It's been noted in the Minnesota media that he does have the propensity to have a few loaf plays, a bit of brain fog. And
I'd still have him over everyone we've had so far. So, but yeah.
Well, it was exemplified by the fact that with still even the minutest chance of winning, it only takes 10 seconds to score a touchdown.
If what we have not talked about, the 4-and-1 punt with 9 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, don't.
I'm sorry. At that point, that was the waving of the white flag. So the muffed punt with 10, the game was over.
Yeah.
KOC had already waved the white flag. And his reasoning the 4-1 that fumbled earlier fumbled. So he's suddenly given up. That was the most pathetic excuse and reasoning I have ever heard from KOC. And I love KOC. I think he's fantastic. But I wanted to... he had a bad game. Ridiculous.
No doubt about that. But I'll go with me. So, boy done good. I'm going to go for... There's so many people I need to thank for this weekend. Like I said, the result is the result. The way that we played is the way that we played. It just, for me, it takes nothing away from the experience of being in Minnesota for a home game. And
well, for you, it's kind of part of the experience, right?
It would be a rich trip to Minneapolis if he didn't lose.
So my again, Thor, Mary, Howard, the crowd in the inside of the stadium, the people I was sat with, I cannot describe the humbleness that I felt over the weekend of just being in these people's presence and allowing me into their slice of life for the weekend. In fact, Mary said that if I don't bring the kids back for the Minnesota State Fair next year, I think she'd be offended. So, that just tells you the type of people that they are. They actually want me to come back.
And you lose at the Minnesota State Fair.
Well, she did say as well, we might be able to go see a preseason game. I was like, no, don't take me.
I'll send you to you can go to every preseason game with my blessing.
It'll be the one game that they listen to John play JJ and he smashes an ACL or something ridiculous.
I think the way...
have we not pointed out, you made a purchase at halftime, didn't you? What did you buy at halftime? Yeah. And
what happened to him pretty much instantly after
halftime?
It's not me.
No, he was having a bad game before.
He didn't have the high ankle sprain though.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, maybe that was his way of improving. I saw a stat earlier today that I think McCarthy's passer rating for the game was like 37.4. 37.5. If he'd simply spiked every single pass attempt that he had, he would have had a passer rating of 39.4.
Yeah.
And that's all because of the 2 interceptions, of course. But
it was.
So is he your boy done bad?
Well, my boy done bad. I'm taking me. I don't think there's any excuse at the moment.
John's already done you. You can't. That's cheating. You've already been done.
I'm doubling up. I have genuinely went into this weekend thinking that it can't just be me. And Minnesota sports teams have a torrid history. But actually, speaking to the good people of Minnesota,
it's a love-hate relationship. Rich loves them, and they hate him.
Yeah, they might actually think it. They might think it's me. So I can't say anything. I can't say anything different, really. I think
could have a ritual burning of all your merch.
Just all me. So.
You made that sound like Rich has his own merch. He's got a big enough head as it is.
Oh yeah. I'm genuinely surprised that he didn't get a custom jersey with BDR on the back.
Well, I tell you what,
it's on order.
I mean, the only reason he didn't get Big Deal Rich is because it didn't fit on the nameplate.
Yeah, I mean, not that I researched that, but you can only get 10 characters on the back, and that is 13. Anyway, so I'll make you a promise when I see an in-person victory for the Minnesota Vikings, I will go buy myself a Big Deal Rich jersey from the shop.
You mean an in-person victory in the US? Because we've won when you've been there in the UK.
Yeah, I'm not like a total jab. Every London game that I've seen, we've won. It's a good thing. So I'm going to the London game. Hope to see you guys there. Going to the Dublin game. The problem with Dublin is, obviously, it's technically, well, it's not technically.
Outside the UK.
It's international waters. so maybe watch out for that game. I'll keep my hat low for that game, just in case anyone recognises me. But yeah, again, I'll come back to it again. I am a jinx. But the people of Minnesota are incredible people. I would thoroughly encourage it. It is not something that is attainable to everyone. I understand that, but if you are lucky enough to be able to get out there and do it, don't hesitate, because it is a fantastic experience.
Don't go into hock, don't go into debt to do it. But I didn't mean TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah. He might feel violated.
So anyway, we've sort of got over the game. The bad news coming out of the game, so we've heard over the past couple of days.
We haven't got over the game, lad.
I'm done now. It's done. The bad news that's come out of the game, obviously, is the new injuries. So Aaron Jones seems to have tweaked a hamstring, which means that Mason might actually touch the ball in the next game. But also, JJ McCarthy has some sort of peculiar injury that depending on when you've read about it.
It's a high ankle sprain.
It was something wrong with his leg, and now there's an ankle, and now there's a high ankle sprain. Originally, it was maybe out for the next game, and then it was 2 weeks, and now it's 2 to 4 weeks. I think it's... I think
that was just some early reporting. I think there was some early reporting in the sense that KOC announced it on the podium and said that he didn't go into too much detail. He just said he wouldn't be available for the Cincinnati game. So he was just playing his cards close to his chest because probably they didn't really know at that point. But the only official report that came out was that it was a high ankle sprain, which can be between 2 to 4 weeks. So I would give him the 4 weeks, give him some weird way of giving him some paternity leave. Do
you think it's a real injury?
I do. Yeah, I don't think it's a phantom injury. No, I'm not. Hang on. Where's my tin hat? I might have to use the dog bowl. That's the only tin hat I've got.
To be honest, I think the NFL schedule has been very harsh to us and a rookie quarterback. Has a freshly starting quarterback ever had to play Monday night football, Sunday night football, then two international games which are in prime time, come back to the bye week, and then play on a Thursday night?
I get that.
All in his first 7 games.
And not just a Monday night football game in his week 1, but a Monday night football game against a division rival.
That's 5 of his first 7 games are solo games where the entire NFL is watching that game. There's no other games.
I don't know, because without going back and looking with my sensible hat on, I can't go back without going back and looking at all of the schedules of all the rookie quarterbacks over the last 10, 15 years to work out with it. But
we know that it's uncommon.
It's uncommon and it sucks.
It might be a bit rough, but this is a championship winning X 100,000 seater stadium Michigan quarterback. He hasn't rocked up from some backstreet college, thinking that he might be all right in the NFL. He lost 2 games since high school coming into the Minnesota Vikings, playing in the biggest stadium in college football. Let's not think that he's not used to this type of pressurized environment. So
it will have an effect.
I would add it to I would add it to the Brown show that we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
but I'd like to think that, especially with his attitude in the fourth quarter against the Bears, because he looked nailed. He looked focused. That's one thing that I do like about JJ McCarthy, is that I don't think he's going to dwell on it. That's one thing I would say. I think knowing what I think I know about JJ McCarthy, watching that game on Sunday night, he'll have been in Monday morning watching tape, having a look at how he can improve. I think he's got character. That's what I like about JJ McCarthy. So it probably feeds towards it, but I don't think he's the be-all.
I think in a weird way, him getting this injury now kind of counteracts that. I think now having 4 weeks stuck in a film room only, I think that might give him time to dwell on it a little bit. Whereas if you just had the next game up, you've got to focus on the next game. But he's got a head on his shoulders. But he is only 22. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, his injury ruined because I did have a little bit of a silver lining, because I thought, well, let's just have a look and see how this is. And I went back and had a look at Bo Nix's first 4 games last season, and they read pretty similar in terms of poor. His first game, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 138 yards, a 47.5 QB rating. Game 2, another 2 interceptions with no touchdowns, 55 rating. He had a decent rating in the next game of 85, but had 0 touchdowns. So first 3 games, not a single touchdown scored, and 4 interceptions. And then he got used to it. Obviously, now having this injury, that breaks that
Do you know about Peyton Manning's first 4 games in the NFL? He had 3 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
Yeah, exactly. So it's my point here is, and what you're making as well, is it sucks, right? When we're in this situation, but it's not necessarily doom or gloom. The injury, however, we need to consider that because obviously, he's picked up another injury in a very quick succession.
Probably not his fault. He took some hammer.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Let's probably anyway.
You guys might be interested to hear that the Minneapolis ABC affiliate is reporting that we are in fact bringing back Cam Akers.
Ooh.
Oh, you are kidding.
Well, he's a free agent running back.
I know.
KOC.
At least we're not paying for him this time.
Inevitable that we were going to.
I think Ty Chandler's out as well, isn't he? So
yeah, Ty Chandler's out, and Scott has been on the
injury report
as well.
Yeah.
So that sort of all makes sense. Going back to the Bengals game, obviously Joe Burrow is going to be out for almost the whole season?
At least 3 months.
IR,
he's on IR.
3 months. Yeah,
and I don't think he's got a designation to return. So I think that's at least 8 weeks.
And I also heard that I think the Bengals are signing Brett Ripien to their practice squad. So that shows what dire straits they're in. If we didn't want him, then
this seems to happen quite a lot when a team needs a player. They'll often go to like free agents who were recently on the roster of an upcoming opponent. And Brett Ripien was obviously on the Vikings in the offseason. We let him go in favor of Max Brosmer.
He's a scout hire, isn't he? That's basically
that's pretty much what it is because they know that Jake Browning is going to start.
Yeah. Our Achilles heel, Jake.
Yeah,
Browning.
We let him go. We let him go. He started against us in 2 years ago.
Got very angry at the camera. I remember afterwards.
Was that when we were in the watch party? Was it that game?
Oh,
it was Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, so again, this is the second time where 2 backup QBs are having to face each other between us. Because it was just Dobbs again. So
let's do a quick round robin then. Daz, what's going to be the score?
Oh, really? This is such an unknown. Carson Wentz going to sling it, isn't he? Which I think might actually play in our favour. So I think weirdly. Dare I say, in terms of our immediate results, I do feel that maybe Carson Wentz is the better option because I think he's more likely to he's just got that experience in the huddle and just the general mechanics. He'll definitely have some interceptions in him, but I think it will be an interception fest. Obviously, Jake Browning got 3 interceptions when he came in this weekend. But I think we'll win. I don't think it's going to be high scoring, so I think it's probably going to be like 17-6.
Ooh, okay, 17-6. John, what's the score of the weekend's game?
21-12.
To the Vikings?
To the Vikings.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, just
keep it open.
Tom, I'm coming to you.
I'm going to go 16. I think the Bengals are going to score a touchdown. I think 16-13.
16-13. Obviously, I said that we were going to go undefeated into the national game. So, John Reese, I owe you a pint next time I see you. But I do think we will win this game. I think there's enough in the locker, and I think hopefully KOC is going to learn some truths about himself from the first couple of games. And actually, let's just be less predictable. Well, let's be less predictable by being more predictable. Let's use the tools that we've got to the best of their ability instead of long, drawn-out plays that we haven't got the offensive line to defend to let them mature. Let's just throw some short ones over the middle, get Thielen playing, and then make them think twice about doubling up on Jefferson. Get the run game going. Let's just do the basics well. That's all we're asking for at this moment in time. I think after the game, I was very animated, saying that I think we need to do the basics well, and I was showing Tom just exactly how the offensive line should behave. Again, I'll share the video with you, Darren.
I have seen it. As I will repeat what I said when I saw it the first time. It is the most middle-aged man thing I've ever seen in my life.
And I would like to say, I'm pretty sure you were offside there, Rich.
Oh, what?
Pretty sure you jumped. Pretty sure you jumped there, mate.
He was calling the cadence. He jumped his own cadence.
I was doing all the jobs. I was just showing that I could do all of them anyway. So I just want the basics done well for the next game. I don't want any fancy nonsense. I just want the basics done well. I'm going to say that we are going to win this game. I think we bounce back. I'm going to say 17 points to 14. I think it's going to be a close one.
Cool.
So there we go.
So after that, we are still all going for a win. That shows just how purple tinted we are.
If this game is a loss, we will be going into an international game with our worst record going into an international game since 2013.
But playing against two horrific teams.
When we played the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
But again, playing two horrific. So the international games could go either way. I'd like to think that we've got a bit of experience in this side of the pond. So
I love your optimism, Rich.
Well, yeah. So again,
Pittsburgh are not looking disastrous at the moment.
Who is a better quarterback, Carson Wentz or Matt Castle?
Me. God.
Hadn't Matt Castle got a couple of Super Bowl rings by then? I mean, as a backup, but
I'd like to see Max. I'd like to see Max throw a couple of balls against the Bengals.
He's only one snap away from that happening.
Yeah, we were back up now.
We were in a pub.
Don't start putting that out there, Rich.
Well,
Don't start putting that
shirt.
We were in a pub post game, and the Gophers were on the telly. And there's a few people around us saying, Max could do a pretty decent job. Of course, I was watching it, so the Gophers lost.
They lost. First game they lost all season. Admittedly, it's only the third game, but
that muff pump on the Gophers game was absolutely awful. I was fuming.
Go and watch it. Ridiculous.
That changed that game. I was fuming at that.
Anyway, right. We're
Bit of news before we go as well.
It's going over to you, Tom. Tell us the stuff.
Yeah. Well, the Vikings have just signed quarterback Desmond Ridder to the active roster.
What?
Ex-Bengal. Desmond Ridder.
Of course he was.
Yeah, we've done what they've done
the
to
reverse.
us. Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
Anything you can do, I can
scout
do.
Signing.
Anything you can do, I can do.
I can also do.
You've also done it. Okay.
To a level of adequacy.
We don't have Reese this week, so if you want us follow us on social media, we're there. I don't think
if you care about looking at anything we do,
we have a beacon.
Put some effort in. And find us. We're not going to spoon feed it to you every week. Just do a bit of research. We're not that hard to find.
In fact, Daz, can you just
listen to the last couple of minutes of any other episode
from last week and just plug it into this week?
Exactly. I keep telling Reese he only has to record this once. I can just insert it, but he insists on bumbling his way through it every time.
We'll put the beacons link in the description for this podcast, won't we, Darren?
There you go.
If I remember.
There you go.
Please do.
John, I think you've got some news about next week's Bengals watch party.
Yes, we have a meet-up in both Leeds and London. At the London meet-up, I am just in discussions at the moment with a new venue because we are on Sky at 6:00 on this Sunday. So yes, it opens up a few new venues, and as much as we love the Hippodrome, it's not a family-friendly venue. So you can't bring the kids and enjoy the game with young ones and everything like that. So I'm exploring alternatives at the moment. So if we do get everything confirmed and everything like that, it will be across our social medias as soon as I've confirmed everything.
Yeah. All over our socials, and we're not going to tell you where they are this week.
All over those normal socials. Get them on. Yeah, and we'll obviously be at the Box Park in Leeds. I'll be there. So if you want to come and watch a game with me, quiz me about Minnesota, or burn me at the stake, you will find me at the Box Bar in Leeds next Sunday.
And everyone needs to make sure they get to both venues early to pick up any little freebies that we might have for them.
I can't get to both. That's really difficult.
I would say if you are coming to one of the venues that's either in London or that there Leeds, Turn up a bit early because we have got some stuff to give away, but that is in limited quantities. I'm also now happy to announce that if you are to turn up at one of our watch parties on Sunday, we are going to give away a signed Jets mini helmet. So that'll be, you need to turn up, you need to guess the score, and then there'll be some sort of tiebreaker if people don't guess the score exactly correctly, or if 2 or more people guess the score exactly correctly. I've got to do some work getting the T's and C's on.
That is a Justin Jefferson. That is a Justin Jefferson signed helmet, not a Jets.
Not a New York Jets.
Not a New York Jets signed helmet.
Come and get a Jets signed helmet by, I don't know, Gardner, maybe.
But everyone says we've got to call in Jets and the other one JJ now. I get confused.
Yeah, but I thought it was Jay. You could have worded it a lot better.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things Rich could do a lot better. So if you have, we've only got a couple of minutes. We just
Justin Jefferson is big. He's much bigger deal than I am. He's signed a helmet. We've got it. We're going to give it away to someone. So if you turn up to one of our, if you turn up to one of our watch parties and you do guess the score correctly, you will be in the draw to win Justin Jefferson signed Vikings mini helmet. That explained it a little bit better. I hope it did. Right, I think that's it. I'm literally asleep on my chair at the moment, so I'd quite like to go to bed. I think there's probably one last thing to do, which is to say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Sultry.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Gentlemen.
Thank you very much for listening. Cheers. Ta-ra.